Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randie Henderson, and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
I'd like to welcome everyone to, this is meeting 17 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. This is our final chapter, almost our final chapter of our reading of Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present by Harriet A. Washington. And tonight our chapter is 15, Aberrant Wars, American Bioterrorism Targets Blacks. Yes. I'd like to remind if we have any viewers, they can watch us on the links or they can catch up later on Google Plus or YouTube, Facebook. Our sessions run until June 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Let's introduce all our members here tonight. Let's start with Randie.
Hello, my name is Randie, and I am watching from Atlanta, and we'll be telling everybody what book will be chosen for the next session at the end of this session.
All right. Thank you, Randie. And Edwina?
Hi, my name is Edwina. I'm watching you from Utah.
All right. Thank you, Edwina. All right. And Venita?
Hi, my name is Venita Walker, and I'm joining you from Connecticut. Welcome.
Thank you. And Michelle?
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Michelle Odom, and I'm located in Brooklyn, New York.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, I see we have Joel Jones has joined our discussion. Joel, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Joel Jones. I'm calling you from, I'm on assignment in Virginia, IA, doing a little marketing for my little festivities I got coming up, but I'm from Charleston, South Carolina.
And I'm Georgette Moses. I'm your moderator from this evening, and I'm located in the South at the beach. And that's all I'm going to say. All right.
In this final chapter, Washington presents us with more examples of covert forces and government organizations targeting blacks for use as human guinea pigs and extermination. Since the 1940s, chemical and biological weapons have been developed for specific use against ethnic groups in a U.S.-mediated bioterrorism perpetrated by American scientists at home and abroad. White supremacy groups from Arkansas to Rhodesia had access to these poisons, chemicals, and biological weapons as they expressed their murderous ethnic hatred. The joint U.S. Army-CIA project, MK-NAOMI, and South Africa's Project Coast facilitated the current use of refined, weaponized biological and chemical agents by South Africa, the Soviet Union, Israel, and Iraq. Despite the 1963 Geneva Convention ban, More benign weapons exist, like the mother of all stink bombs used by the London police, that are genetically tailored to specific ethnic groups. However, such precision may not always be necessary if existing variations in genetics, lifestyle, habits, health profile, and diet are effectively exploited.
Yeah, powder at the post office. In October of 2001, the Brentwood postal facility in Washington, D.C. was at the epicenter of a bioterror attack with live anthrax spores. The intended targets were members of Congress. The real victims, uh, the real victims were the 2,646 postal workers at the facility, most of them black, who were exposed to the deadly toxin. Miraculously, only two of them died, but the lack of response and access to treatment showed a clear disparity between the mostly white Congress and the laborers on the front lines. It was a full 3 days before any of the workers were treated with the 60-day antibiotic treatment or offered an experimental vaccine. The people on Capitol Hill got the best and the fastest treatment, and none of them died. In New York City, the Morgan Station Center tested positive for anthrax, but the United States Postal Service would wait a full 10 days to supply the workers with the antibiotic Cipro, latex gloves, and paper masks. However, they refused to close the facility, prompting the workers' boycott. The U.S. Postal Service responded by decontaminating only the facility machines. Do you think the poor response and treatment of these workers was racially motivated? With the erosions of union by political forces, if the scenario were to be repeated, what might the response of the public, uh, the employees, and the government today? Well, um, we have seen time and time again that depending upon where a disaster happens, what type of response this government, um, what type of response this government will react to, i.e., everyone knows Katrina. You know, if it's a flooding in the Midwest, in the heartlands, or if it's um, um, a train wreck in the urban centers, you know, we've seen that, you know, if it's us, basically they react very slow. Um, who gets injured versus if it had been no doubt in my mind, if it had been a post office out in Utah, that response would have
Amen.
been that if it had been a post office out in Utah, and we know that it's not
Mhm.
99% Caucasian, they would have acted a whole lot quicker. And I mean,
Mhm.
that's just the reality of it. You know, I don't, you know, until they show me something different, I'm just going to go by the playbook in which has always been there. You know, if it happened today, you know, I think the playbook would be the same. It depends upon when, where, who
And
was, who was exposed to this bioterror. Just my humble opinion.
Yes.
yeah,
Wow. Thank you.
I would just add, I think it's both race and class, and in all the cases that Joel is talking about, but specifically it was very clear in this example, of the fast and effective response to the threat on Congress compared to the delayed response to the postal workers. So, so we see that, we see that all the time. I'm thinking of the scene in one of Michael Moore's movies where he's asking the Congress people, would you send your son to war?
Oh, yes.
They're all like, get away from me, get away from me.
Right.
Because it's a class issue, and so many of the people, including my son, that go into the military, do so for economic reasons.
That's correct.
I would just like to interject that just because I'm sitting in Utah doesn't mean I'm in paradise. I've walked out my door so many times, and I have been subjected to hate crimes.
Oh yeah.
But, I'm from the South. My father was from the South. I was raised by a Southerner. So, I have a, inner knowledge how to deal with these racists when they attack me. It's not like I'm sitting up here and everything is, coming up roses. Because I've been called the N-word, and I know what my father has taught me, that you keep on walking. And you don't make a comment, you don't let people provoke you, because they will provoke you.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Edwina. Wow. Safe out there. Okay? Wow.
They ask me how I'm doing. I say I'm okay. I don't like to say I'm hanging in. I tell them I'm not hanging in because I know what that look like.
Oh, all right. I got you.
All
right.
Georgette,
Yes.
I was just saying on the question about unions, and I'm glad you included that. The question is, with the erosion of unions by political forces, if this scenario were to be repeated, what might be the response of the public, the employees, and the government today? Well, I'd say that the public would respond with nothing, not my business, not my concern, not my problem. The employees would respond with fear. Well, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my job. Let's not say anything. Let's just go. Maybe we'll die, but, got to keep my job. And the government would respond, you wouldn't even get the latex gloves.
Budget cuts.
Get your behind on back to work. So, we have allowed this erosion of unions, along with everything else designed to protect people in this country. But it's a serious matter. Unions make a difference.
Unions make a difference.
Yeah.
That's right. We need to support them, but despite whatever the political attack that comes against,
Yeah.
because they've stood in between many people and devastation.
Well,
So,
yeah, and and as Joelle mentioned, you don't have constitutional rights when you're in the military, but all of the rights that Americans have and had in the workplace outside the military are the result of unionization.
Got it.
that's right.
And, we know, the- those of us who know just a little bit of history, we know that left to their own devices, employers, um, will treat anybody as like a slave.
Mm.
Mm,
So it's and then unions have fought and died like soldiers
Mm.
for the little bit of rights that we have. Yeah.
Got it.
that is true.